Okay, I'm going to give a tour of my 2010 Ford Econoline XLT Super Duty E350 Quigley with Advanced Track RSC. I just listed it for sale, and I know everyone has some questions about the build, so I'll do a quick walk around and show you what it looks like. Luminous bumpers, front and rear. Worn VR12000S synthetic rope winch hidden in the box. I'll open that for you later. Rigid Industries round LED lights in the bumper. KC light bar up top. BFGs on XD full metal jacket rims. 285 70 17s. The Agile Off-Road did the suspension upgrades for me. The RIP kit, RIP kit, included Fox shocks, coil springs, leaf springs in the back. Made the ride a ton nicer. Show you it closed first. What she looks like. Fiamma F45S awning, 2 Rhino racks, 3 Renogy 100-watt solar panels on top. I don't know if you can quite see those. The Road Shower 4L holds 10 gallons of water pressurized with a garden hose. Get the external port for a propane tank. You can see where it comes plumbed in under there if the sun's not too bad. This is the exhaust for the furnace inside. This is the skid plate from U-Joint Off-Road. It's empty on top. It's ready for storage box, batteries, or water tanks. Luminous boxes on the back. You gotta put these pins in to hold the boxes open on the side. When you're storing these pins, be sure and use the grommet. If you store them in this hole, it rips the ring out the pin. I just washed this morning, so that's why it's drippy. Here you can see one of the rings that got destroyed because I tried to store it in that hole. It wasn't being stored in the grommet. Luminous box on the back. Rigid backup lights tied into the reverse light, or you can manually turn them on. Factory tow package with the 7-pin harness that works. I've been towing my boat with it. Works great. Backup camera works. It's in the rear view mirror, but it's behind this box, so you have to open this box if you want to be able to see. The platform I made for the back has planks that go on here to convert it into a queen-size bed. I usually have it converted into a bed, but I cleaned it out for this video. I can put those planks in there before it's over to show you what it looks like made up. Mesh storage all the way around. The silver things are hooks, flop down so you can hang coats and hats and clothes and stuff. There's USB charging ports in the back, right there. You see the blue LED light is on in there. That means that the house battery is turned on right now. House battery controls, all the overhead LEDs, USB ports, the refrigerator charger or power port up front, and the furnace. Rear air conditioning works. Comes out the stock plastic tube. I just cut a little short on the ceiling so it blasts out all over the van. Underneath here is your electrical center with the battery charger, MPPT controller from Victron Energy. All this is Bluetooth. You can get an app on your phone and monitor the status while you're driving or sitting around camp. Don't want to get any water on my carpet. In here you got room for tow straps, chains, come-alongs, miscellaneous goodies. It's a big storage box. I'll leave this open for the walk around. It's your luminescent ladder, rigid lights on the rack, 2 on each side, floodlights. They are controlled inside. I'll show you the switch. They're mainly just for camping. I didn't make it so you can turn them on while you're driving. You could, but I'll show you how to do that. This is the condition of the driver's seat. Not too bad for 100,000 miles. The door shows light wear. The seat looks to be in pretty good condition. I had seat covers on top of it. Carpeting looks real good. Entrance step looks amazing. Here's the dashboard. It's got speakers built in for your phone, aftermarket stereo. Here's your shifter. Some dog hair on the carpet. Still working on that. This is the carbon monoxide detector. I like to turn that on when I'm camping. Sleeping in the back. There's a view of the back from the front. The ceiling is glued in place. There's insulation behind it, foam and Reflectex. One of my old bummers, if I could fix it, would be this ink. I did not do that. The rafting company that used to own this fan had a TV monitor in the ceiling, and when they installed it, they must have outlined it before they drilled the holes. So I discovered that when I took down the headliner to install my wood. Might as well look in the front box. There's your Warren VR12S winch. I've got some jumper cables up front, extra quart of oil, and a tree strap right there. Never used it. Limo tint windows in the back. I think they're 27% tint in the front sides. The front windshield is not tinted. These auxiliary switches work. This auxiliary switch is the lower lights in the bumper. This auxiliary switch 2 is the light bar above. I made this little bracket to support the floor. You can have store chairs behind it. This is luxury vinyl plank flooring on almost 1/2-inch ply, and underneath that is foam insulation, so the heat from the van does not come through this floor, and you're well insulated in the wintertime. Just some stick-on carpet on top of the luxury vinyl plank, which is easily replaceable. gives the dog some traction and keeps things from sliding around. The walls have furring strip, foam, and Reflectex insulation behind them. I'll attach some photos of where the furring strips are attached so you can put screws in if you need to. Here's the hooks I was talking about. Hold all kinds of coats in here. That's into a big hook and board behind there, so that's pretty strong. This is for the Max Air fan. Works great. This is your outlet for your refrigerator if you want to install one. I set one right here. It has upgraded wiring to here. I think it's 10 gauge or 12 gauge wire to here, so there's plenty of capacity. Also got USB ports right here. A switch to turn this outlet on and off if you want, so make sure if your fridge is plugged in that switch is on. The house battery is showing right here, 13.8 volts right now. House battery is a lithium ion battery from Battleborn, 100 amp hour. There's a little bit of Reflectex showing through the fabric here. It's kind of a bummer, but either it shrank or I didn't match up the line very well. And you get into the back, and there is the Propex furnace. Runs on propane in one of the back tanks. I'll show you. The controller on the wall for the Propex is right here. Propane's not turned on right now, so I'm not going to turn that on, but it does work. It's nice and quiet. It's a good furnace. Penetrations for the roof wiring. You got the rigid floodlights on the rack, 2 on each side, a wire for those, and you also have a wire going up for the LED light bar on top, and you have wires coming down from the solar panels. So that's what these 2 conduits are doing. They come down the side of the van, and they come under this platform, and they come in right here. Hopefully you can see that well enough. This switch isolates your panels if you want to turn them off and work on the system so you won't get shocked. And then everything else is pretty self-explanatory. If you look up each of these units, they'll explain the wiring that's required and what's going on in here. A lot of storage under the bed. I decided not to put cabinets in because I like the wide open feel of stuffing duffel bags and whatever you want in there. Drawers and cabinets, pretty limiting on the size of stuff you can get inside there. Oh, I'll turn the lights on and show you how they work. Interior lights, boom, little blue light comes on and you got all your interior lights, and they're individually controllable with the button. So you can turn just one on or all of them on if you want to save energy or stealth camp. This red switch is for the rack lights. Boom, turn those rack lights on. They're running off the auxiliary battery. If I pop a rigid off, you'll see it. There it is. Turn that off. So this van has 3 batteries. Your starting battery, auxiliary battery, which is a factory battery, and the house batteries, which I installed, which is the lithium ion battery. And those are both underneath the step here. This is the house battery. This is the auxiliary battery. The auxiliary battery supplies power to the trailer if you're pulling one, and accessories to the trailer. The house battery, of course, supplies power to all the LED lights and the furnace. And it's recharged with the solar panels. The auxiliary battery is recharged with the motor when it's driving. The seat swivels, which is pretty sweet. I think. Look at that. Gotta like that when you're camping. 2 seats across from each other. Oh, that's comfortable. I'm gonna miss this van. That's what the build looks like. It's all foam behind this fabric. You don't feel any heat. It's a hot day. It's going to be 100 today, but you don't feel the heat radiate in this van. It doesn't turn into an oven like a van does without any insulation. Insulated floor, insulated walls, insulated ceiling. The least amount of insulation is probably in the factory headliner above the driver and passenger seat. You can see how much insulation is in here on the floor with this edge here. It's like at least an inch of insulation on the floor. And then view of the back. Me, my wife, and my 7-year-old daughter sleep back here, no problem. But it doesn't have a bathroom. So we bought an RV. Yama awning works. I don't know what to say about that. I could set it up, but there's no point. It's cool. Propane tanks in here, 17-pound, fiberglass, ultralight. I think it has a 5 or 7-year lifespan. I just bought it last year, so it's got 4 more years in it before it needs to be replaced. A low pressure regulator. Always travel with it off. These are some hoses that go with the rooftop shower. The hose from the propane tank comes down here, comes down here, ties into this braided hose, and then supplies the rest of the van. Only 2 locations. The furnace and this fire pit outlet. Low pressure. Let me get those planks and put in there, show you what it looks like. Okay, here's the planks. I labeled one front. They fit better one way than the other. Front panel, that one. So, let's hop in there and put that in. Rear panel. Voila. Here's your bed. Go ahead and turn those lights on. Two remotes. There, the lights are on. Probably wondering what this distance here is. I think it's about 21 inches. Each of these is an inch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 inches between the bottom of the bed and the floor. So it fits standard crates and coolers. That's how I designed it. This light's kind of funky here. You gotta turn it on manually, on and off. It's a good little night light. The lock button in the back works. Boom, lock the whole van, unlock it. I like that. When you're closing these rear racks, this little switch here, you got to make sure that's up. That locks it. For some reason it has a tendency to stay down and it can swing open in traffic. That's no fun. This little mark here is where I backed into the garage. The garage lost. No damage to the van, just a white mark from paint. I can see if I can get that off. What else to say? The tires have TPMS sensors in them that are a pain in the butt because the factory setting is 80 psi. Who wants to run around at 80 psi? So I'm always constantly airing them down, and tire store airs them back up. And once in a while the sensor will break, and then you get a sensor fault on the dashboard. It's no big deal to me, but another thing that you'll notice is the rear bumper does not have sensors anymore, backup sensors. The original van had backup sensors. They're wired up underneath there in a ball right now. But when you back up, you'll get a sensor alarm in the backup category on the dashboard. It's annoying, but there's nothing to do about it really. Here's what the suspension looks like on this side. This is that Agile off-road rip kit. And it's got a little rust. You can see in here. See this? This is the Quigley 4x4 mount, this arm, and it's got a little rust poking through. It's not terrible. Guys at Agile didn't think it was a problem. It could be sanded down and repainted. That'd be a good spot to touch up. Let me crawl underneath this, show you what we see down here. So the exterior of this van is super clean, no dents or scratches, no accidents. Underneath you see a little rust from the age. This is where you can tell it really is an old 2010 van. This is the gas tank. It's been cut by Quigley and shortened to accommodate the transfer case. This original drive line, you can see a little bit of rust on it, but they told me no sense in replace it at the transmission shop. It's got the original exhaust, the catalytic converters. I changed those, hoping it would make it run cooler. No change. Not much to look at under here. I didn't do many mods underneath it. Just put the suspension upgrades. You got the Fox 2.0 shocks there. Just looking around for you. You see some water dripping off here from the wash job. I just washed it. That's what that is. It's a sweet van. There's a little bit of that rust you see on the body, but it's not going all the way through or structural really. It's just on the surface. Just needs some rust converter. There's the two battery boxes. There's the auxiliary battery, the house battery. House battery box is one that I purchased off eBay and modified it, but it's designed to have two batteries on the frame rail, so it was a perfect location. We'll get you a quick look under the hood and call it a video. Here's the switch for the backup LED lights, the rigid lights in the back. This little light is your 4-wheel drive switch from Quigley. Tells you when it's engaged. There's the remote for the winch. It's also wireless, which is really cool. Not much to see under here. It's clean, it's in good shape. I change the filter out every 5,000 miles or 10,000 miles. Oil every 3 to 5. Battery's pretty new. Got it at Costco within the last year. I changed both batteries at the same time. It's important on these vans. You have to change the auxiliary battery and the starter battery at the same time. Otherwise it stresses out the alternator and makes it fail. The alternator was failing when I purchased this van, and it was kind of making it run hot. That's it.